Would you like to accomplish more with your writing projects during 2017? Hi there, my name is Brian Collins and I'm an author from Ireland. And in this short video annual review, I'm going to explain 5 creative lessons that I learned during 2016, which I think can help you. So this year, the big thing that I did was I published a book called The Power of Creativity. And while I was writing this book, I suppose I discovered some things about the creative process. And I also, made a few painful mistakes along the way, which I had to overcome. And I hope the lessons that I'm about to share will help you publish a book during 2017 or perhaps write on your blog consistently. The first lesson I learned is that outlines are your best friend, particularly if you're a non-fiction writer. So unless you're writing literary non-fiction or you're the type of fiction writer who makes things up as they go along from sentence to sentence, it's best to spend 20 to 30% of your time outlining your work in advance, figuring out in advance what you want to say. You can do that using index cards, you can do it using a spreadsheet, or you can do it using bullet points and pen and paper. But do this work up front and you'll save yourself a lot of time later on with painful rewrites. The second creative lesson I learned is how fast dictation is. I would say it's 2 or even 3 times faster than typing something out, and I'm a pretty fast typist. Now, the key thing is I actually don't dictate all of my writing. I only dictate about 60 to 70% of it, and I usually dictate the first and second draft. Why do I do this? Well, I find it's quite helpful to write that first and second draft without stopping to edit myself. And when I'm dictating, I'm less likely to stop to edit myself because I suppose I'm speaking, so it's more difficult to do. When I get into the editing process of the third and the fourth or even the 5th draft, I do that using the keyboard. But I do find that all of this does speed up the writing process, particularly at the start, and it helped me reach target word counts a lot faster. The third creative lesson I learned is to work on only one big creative project at a time. So the book I showed you at the start of this video was my big creative project for approximately 6 months. But before I focused on this creative project, I was actually doing multiple things at once. I was trying to write fiction. I was trying to write a series of blog posts in advance. I was trying to guest post. I was trying to master techniques like Facebook advertising and so on. This was an awful lot to do at once, and I found it quite difficult to actually finish things. It seemed like a lot of the projects would drag on forever. So instead, what I decided to do was to spend 80% of my free time working on one thing, like that non-fiction book about creativity that I showed you at the start of this video. And I focused almost entirely on that until it's done. I used the other 20% of my time to focus on the other things that I had to do during the day or my writing time. The next creative lesson I learned is how important it is to validate an idea in advance. So when I was writing The Power of Creativity, I spent a lot of time studying other books about creativity on stores like Amazon. I did this because I wanted to see what sold, what readers liked, what they disliked, and then I wanted to use all of that information to write something that would resonate with readers of my book. Because I didn't want to go through the painful process of writing a book, investing in an editor and a proofreader, and then publishing it and then finding nobody bought it. Because that's something I did with a fiction book during 2015, and believe me, it was a mistake I wanted to avoid. Finally, the 5th creative lesson that I learned is to involve your readers early. So when I finished The Power of Creativity, I was just going to press publish on Amazon. But then after reading how other successful indie authors publish online, I discovered that I would be better served reaching out to members of my email list, to you, and asking if you'd like to review a copy of my book in advance. Then prior to the launch day, I emailed these beta readers and I asked them to post a review on the launch day. This enabled me to launch The Power of Creativity, the first book, with 23 positive reviews. And that was a far cry from last year when I launched a book with 0 reviews. And the key thing I discovered was involving readers early is actually quite easy to do, because you will find that your readers are more than keen to help you if you explain what you're doing. So those are the 5 key creative lessons I learned during 2016, and I hope they'll help you accomplish more with your writing projects next year. And if you found this annual review helpful, please leave a question below or share the video with somebody you think would benefit from it.